I find this absolutely riveting, and I know that millions of others do too. Different versions of this have been uploaded to Twitter alone, and the version I tweeted had, just my own tweet had more than 2 million impressions on it. I would imagine all the different versions that people uploaded on Twitter alone probably had 20 or 30 million views. And on Facebook and Instagram, and I think this video was seen at least 20 million times over the weekend. Here, take a look.
Please get out. Get out of this property. Immediately get out. Get out of this property immediately. Out. I don't want to hear anything. Out of this property immediately. I don't want to hear a word. Out. Out.
So we showed you Quebec City, we showed you Montreal, we showed you Yorkdale Mall in Toronto, biggest mall in Canada. We showed you Get Out. But I haven't shown you the masterpiece yet. Artur Pawlowski's video. Artur, a pastor in Calgary, who you may know because he is a client of our FightTheFines.com project. And he was our very first case. We've taken, I think, 607 cases. He was case number 1. He was arrested a year ago for feeding the homeless in Calgary. They gave him a $1,200 ticket. They said it was an illegal gathering. He's feeding the homeless. So yes, I guess they gathered to get food. And the cops came and physically pushed his people and ticketed him. So we took that case. That was the first of 607 cases. Anyhow, when we lawyered up for him, the prosecutors dropped that fine. They didn't want to go to court and explain to a judge why they were giving $1,200 fines to pastors feeding the homeless. By the way, they gave him a dozen more fines in December. We're representing him on those too. I want to show you approximately a 2-minute video by Artur. We'll talk about it for a minute. Then I am going to read the super chats. And then we're going to come back and do a deep dive through Arthur's video, which I think is so interesting and so instructive. So let me show you this video, posted to Facebook by Artur himself. I find this absolutely riveting, and I know that millions of others do too. Different versions of this have been uploaded to Twitter alone, and the version I tweeted had, just my own tweet had more than 2 million impressions on it. I would imagine all the different versions that people uploaded on Twitter alone probably had 20 or 30 million views. And on Facebook and Instagram, and I think this video was seen at least 20 million times over the weekend. Here, take a look.
Please get out. Get out of this property. Immediately get out. Get out of this property immediately. Out. I don't want to hear anything. Out of this property immediately. I don't want to hear a word. Out. Out. Out of this property immediately until you come back with a warrant. Out. 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 Out of this property. Immediately out. Immediately go out and don't come back. I don't want to talk to you. Not a word. Out of this out of this property. Immediately out. I don't care what you have to say. Out. Out. Out of this property, you Nazis. Out. Out. Gestapo is not allowed here. Immediately, Gestapo is not allowed. Out. Do you understand English? Get out of this property. Go. So go. Go. And don't come back without a warrant. Out, Nazi. Out. Out. You understand? Nazis are not welcome here. Out. And don't come back without a warrant. Do not come back without a warrant. You understand that? You're not welcome here. Nazis are not welcome here. Gestapo is not welcome here. Do not come back, you Nazi psychopaths. Unbelievable, sick. evil people intimidating people in a church during the Passover. You Gestapo, Nazi, communists, fascists. Don't you dare coming back here. Can you imagine those psychopaths? Passover, the holiest Christian festival in a year, and they're coming to intimidate Christians during the holiest festival? Unbelievable. What is wrong with those sick psychopaths? It's beyond me.
Holy moly. What do you think of that, Justin? I think that's incredible. I'm going to have to watch that again and count the number of times he says out. I counted, he said Nazi 6 times, he said this Gestapo 4 times, communist once, fascist once, and psychopath 3 times. That's a total of 10, 15 descriptors. What impresses me, and of course he's a man of the cloth, is that he didn't swear. Because boy, all the swear angels would be whispering so many swears into my ears if I were that adrenalized. If I were that, like his heart must have been pounding, right? I mean, imagine staring down. Was there 6 of them there? I think there was 1 Calgary Police Service, 2 sheriffs, I think, or maybe 3. There was the 1 Alberta Health Services, and then there was 2 plainclothes detectives, I understand they are. So that's a total of 6. I'm not sure how many had guns. I don't know if the sheriffs had guns. The cop had a gun. Imagine bringing a gun into a church. Why? This guy did? Okay, so that's a sheriff. That's what they call that, a peace officer in Alberta. There's sort of different levels of cops. Like a security guard is a low level. That's not a real cop, right? A security guard is just, anyone can be a security guard. A prison guard is higher, but a prison guard's not yet a cop. There's different levels, right? So Calgary Police Service, a peace officer in Alberta can be a sheriff, can be like a wildlife and game, like a fish and wildlife officer with a gun. I think that they went in extremely heavy-handed. I'm going to watch that again and count how many times he says out. Because it's got to be 30, right? And the thing is, if you don't have a warrant and you're on private property and you're told to leave, you got to leave. And we know that from from our own experience. When we go on property that's open to the public and they say get out, you have to get out for any reason or no reason, even if you were invited on. And if you don't, then you're violating the Trespass to Property Act. Now, our rule of thumb is go, but don't run out. You'll walk out. But you have to go. Those cops took 2 slow minutes to leave. And again, one more thing I'd like to praise Artur for is he didn't touch anyone. He didn't push anyone. Although, I think he would have been lawfully allowed to do so. Just like security guards, if you don't leave a restaurant, leave a bar, leave a mall, they can push you out. Reasonable force, nothing more. But it would be a terrible idea to put hands on an armed cop, wouldn't it? That would just be a really bad idea. Because a cop will kill you. Let's be honest. You don't need to. His moral authority and his moral confidence was enough to do the job. Just incredible. That was seen millions of times over the weekend. So much so that the Calgary police put out a statement just packed with lies. It's funny because only the Sun chain has reported on that in the mainstream media. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe in the last hour other media have caught up with it. It was the largest story in Canada over the weekend. TMZ covered it. You know that? TMZ in LA. They cover celebrity stuff, but they thought this was so riveting, they covered it. So many American networks, Australian, UK. I saw senior, for example, just for an anecdote, my own tweet on the subject was retweeted by Marco Rubio's chief of staff. You know Marco Rubio, he's the senator from Florida. That's a bit of a big deal. I saw Trump administration alumni retweeting it. I saw senior journalists. I saw senior, political, it was the talk of America. There was also police in Britain who were even worse. So Britain had its own version of this. You know that one where the cops literally went into the church and said, everybody, you have to go home? I don't know if you know that one. Darren Grimes tweeted that one. If you type police church UK, you'll find it pretty quickly. So it was huge news. Super viral video. And yet, other than The Sun, I have not seen any mainstream media in Canada cover it. Maybe they've caught up in the last hour, but just none.
Oh, hi friends. What you just saw there is a clip from our Rebel News daily live stream show. It's fun, it's fast, and it's completely unscripted, so you never really know what you're going to get. Just go to rebelnews.com/livestream to sign up for special alerts.